My wife and mother-in-law mocked me. He clings to me like a dog to a bone. I'll dump him once the house is in my name. I stayed silent, but today the judge left her with nothing. My phone blew up with 26 missed calls. Hey everyone. Before we dive in, I have a quick favor to ask. If you enjoy content like this, please hit the subscribe button. It's free, supports the channel, and ensures you never miss out on amazing videos. Alright, let's get started. I never thought I'd be one of those guys posting here, but I need to get this off my chest. The shit hit the fan yesterday, and I'm still processing everything. Some background. I'm Vincent, 34M, married to Harper, 31F, for 3 years. We've been looking to buy our first house, and her mother, Poppy, 55F, has been helping us with the down payment. I should have seen the red flags earlier, but you know how it goes. Love makes you blind and stupid. It all started last weekend. I was up on the roof of our rental, fixing some shingles that got damaged in the last storm. Our landlord's useless, and I'd rather fix it myself than wait weeks for him to get around to it. I was nearly done when I heard Harper's car pull up. She was with her mom, both of them laughing as they got out. They didn't see me up there. They went to sit on the back porch, right under where I was working. I was about to call out when I heard my name. Something in Harper's tone made me pause. Vincent's so excited about the house, Harper was saying, her voice dripping with mockery. He keeps talking about how we'll build a life there together. God, he clings to me like a dog to a bone. My mother-in-law's laugh could have curdled milk. Men are so simple. He actually believes you're putting the house in both your names. No, Harper replied. I convinced him it should be in my name because of his poor credit. He bought that story completely. Once everything's signed and settled, I'll start the next phase. How long do you think you'll need to wait before divorcing him? We don't want it to look suspicious. 6 months, maybe a year. Long enough to establish the house as my property. Then I'll tell him I've grown apart or some shit. He'll never know what hit him. I sat there perfectly still, listening to my wife and mother-in-law plan my financial execution. They talked about how they'd been planning this for months, how Poppy had been investing in me, building up my trust, how Harper had been documenting every little mistake I made, preparing her case. He's such a sucker, Harper giggled. Remember when he got all teary because you gave him that Rolex? No one's ever given me something so nice, she mimicked my voice. Meanwhile, it was just to show the neighbors we were supporting him, building evidence that we've been contributing to his lifestyle. You've learned well, sweetheart, Poppy said proudly. Your father tried to take everything in our divorce, but I showed him. Now it's your turn to secure your future. They went on for another 20 minutes, laying out their whole plan. How they'd make me look unstable if I contested the divorce, how they'd use my long work hours against me, every detail calculated, every angle covered. I finished the roof quietly and climbed down the other side. Drove to Bradley's house. He's been my best friend since high school, and thank God he's a lawyer. Played him the recording I'd made on my phone. Holy shit, Vince, he said after listening. What are you going to do? I looked him straight in the eye. I'm going to let them think they've won. Then I'm going to burn their whole plan to the ground. The next few days have been surreal. Harper's acting normal, loving, even. This morning she kissed me goodbye, told me she loved me, then immediately called her mom to laugh about how the house paperwork was almost ready. I know because I'd already set up a recording app on her phone when she was sleeping. Yeah, maybe it's not strictly ethical, but ethics at this point. The house they want me to help buy? It's way over our budget. They're pushing for a $750,000 mortgage that would clean out my savings for the down payment. Harper keeps saying her commissions will cover it, but I've seen her real numbers. She's not making nearly what she claims. Right now, they think I'm at work. Actually, I'm at the bank, moving my money to new accounts they can't access. Next stop is a divorce attorney Bradley recommended. Harper and Poppy think they're puppeteers, pulling my strings. Time to show them what happens when the puppet cuts loose. I've got more. Recordings, screenshots of their text conversations, thanks, shared iPad, and a detailed record of every financial manipulation they've tried. But I'm not moving yet. The house paperwork is supposed to be ready next week. They think I'm going to sign everything over to Harper. Boy, are they in for a surprise. I'll update when things start moving. Right now, I need every bit of advice I can get. Am I wrong for playing along? Should I confront them now? Part of me wants to blow this whole thing up in their faces, but Bradley says patience will pay off better in the long run. Either way, I'm done being their puppet. Update. Thank you for all the support on my last post. I didn't expect it to blow up like that. To those asking, yes, I've been documenting everything. It's been 2 weeks since I overheard my wife Harper and Memel Poppy plotting to screw me over with the house deal. Every day has been a struggle not to confront them, but I'm playing the long game here. The more rope I give them, the more they're hanging themselves. Yesterday was a turning point. I was organizing our home office while Harper was at her open house, or so she claimed, and I found a stack of bank statements she'd carelessly stuffed in the bottom drawer. Guess what? She's been lying about her commissions for months. Every time she told me a house sold for less, she was pocketing the difference in a separate account. The worst part? Some of that money was going straight to Poppy. My friend Bradley, he's a lawyer, nearly choked on his coffee when I showed him the numbers. Vince, they've been building this scheme for longer than you think, he said, spreading the papers across his kitchen table. These transfers to your Miles account, They're systematic, monthly, and they started right after you got that promotion. I remembered how excited Harper was about my promotion 6 months ago. Now I know why. More money for their little fund. The fund they think I know nothing about. But here's where it gets interesting. My sister Zoe, thank God she's an accountant, helped me trace those transfers. Turns out, Poppy's been using that money to make payments on a beach house. A beach house that, according to the paperwork, will be in Harper's name once the divorce is finalized. They're so confident about their plan, they've already started setting up their post-divorce life. The confrontation happened this morning. Harper was making breakfast, acting all sweet like usual. "Babe, we should go over the house paperwork today," she said, sliding me a plate of eggs. "Mom's lawyer drew up some documents about putting it in my name. Just temporary, until your credit improves." I kept my face neutral, took a bite of toast. "Sure, honey, whatever you think is best." She beamed, probably thinking I was still her obedient puppy. Then her phone buzzed. A text from Poppy. "Did he sign yet? That idiot better not mess this up." The message preview popped up on her locked screen, and Harper's face went white when she saw I was looking right at it. I stood up slowly, letting my chair scrape against the floor. "Something wrong, Harper? You look like you've seen a ghost." She scrambled to hide her phone, knocked over her coffee. "It's nothing. She's just worried about the house. You know how she gets." "Yeah, I know exactly how she gets," I said, pulling out my own phone. I played the recording from 2 weeks ago, their conversation about using me until the house was in her name. Harper's face went from white to green. The screaming match that followed was epic. She called me every name in the book, accused me of spying, threatened to call the police. I just sat there, recording everything on my phone, watching her dig herself deeper. When she finally ran out of steam, I slid Bradley's business card across the table. "My lawyer will be in touch," I said, grabbing my jacket. "Oh, and Harper, that beach house you and Poppy are planning to share? Might want to check. Those payments would be a shame if they stopped going through." Her scream followed me out the door. My phone's been blowing up ever since. 15 missed calls from Harper, 11 from Poppy. I haven't answered a single one. Instead, I drove to Bradley's office. "We're filing the divorce papers tomorrow." Harper and Poppy think they're demolishing my life, but they don't realize I'm about to pull the foundation out from under their little empire. Thanks for letting me vent, Reddit. And to those wondering, yes, I've got copies of everything. Every transfer, every text, every recording where it's legal. The house they wanted to steal from me, it's going to cost them a lot more than they planned. Update 2 first. Thank you all for the support and advice. Things have finally come to a head, and I wanted to share what went down this week. It's still surreal typing this out. I'd been playing it cool for weeks, acting normal while getting everything in order. Harper had no idea I knew about her little scheme with her mom. Last Sunday was Poppy's monthly family dinner, the one where she loves showing off her cooking skills and reminding everyone how much she helps us. Perfect timing. I got there early to help set up. Harper's idea. She wanted me to move some furniture. Bradley, my lawyer friend, parked around the corner, waiting for my signal. I helped arrange the dining room, while Harper and Poppy were in the kitchen, catching bits of their conversation about the house closing next week. They were practically giggling about how smooth everything was going. "Mom, once it's in my name, we can start phase 2, Harper said, not realizing I was right outside the kitchen. "Vincent's such a puppy, always so eager to please. He'll never see it coming." That's when I sent Bradley the text. The doorbell rang just as we were sitting down to eat. Harper's face when she saw Bradley walk in with the manila envelope. I wish I had a picture. "What's Bradley doing here?" she asked, her fork frozen halfway to her mouth. "Just delivering some paperwork," I said, keeping my voice casual as I opened the envelope. "Harper, these are divorce papers. I'm also filing an injunction to stop the house purchase." Poppy jumped up so fast she knocked over her wine glass. "How dare you ambush us at my dinner? Harper, call the police." "Go ahead," Bradley said, pulling out his phone. "I'm recording everything from here on out." That's when all hell broke loose. Harper started screaming about how I was ruining everything, how she'd wasted 3 years on me. Poppy was yelling about how much money she'd invested in. I just sat there calmly eating my potatoes while Bradley recorded everything. "You ungrateful piece of trash," Poppy screamed, her face turning red. "After everything we've done for you," I finally put down my fork. "You mean after everything you've done to me? The hidden accounts, the secret meetings with realtors, the text messages about how you're going to dump the dead weight once the house is in Harper's name?" Harper's face went white. "How did you? I heard you both that day I was fixing the roof. Really should check if someone's home before plotting to screw them over." I pulled out my phone and played the recording of their conversation about the house scheme. Got plenty more where that came from. "Those recordings are illegal," Poppy shrieked, trying to grab my phone. Bradley stepped in. "Actually, in this state, they're perfectly legal. And there's more." I laid out everything. The bank statements showing money being moved around, the text messages I'd recovered, the consultation with a real estate board member about Harper's ethical violation. With each piece of evidence, Harper seemed to shrink in her chair, while Poppy got louder and more hysterical. "You can't prove anything," Harper finally snapped. "It's your word against ours." "Actually," I said, pulling out one last document, "it's your words against yours. Remember that notarized letter you wrote about how you were the sole purchaser of the house because of my bad credit? Turns out my credit score is higher than yours. Been that way for years. Want to explain that to the judge? Poppy lunged across the table, sending plates crashing to the floor. I'll destroy you. I have connections. Mom, stop. Harper grabbed her. He's recording everything. I stood up, straightening my jacket. Bradley, I think we're done here. Harper, you can have your lawyer contact mine, though you might want to find your own place first. I've already notified the apartment complex about removing you from the lease. As we walked out, Poppy was still screaming threats while Harper had collapsed in her chair, mascara running down her face. My phone started blowing up before we even reached the car. 26 missed calls in the first hour alone. The next few days have been chaos. Harper's been between begging me to reconsider and threatening to ruin my life. Poppy's apparently been calling everyone we know, spinning some story about how I'm trying to steal their money. But here's the thing. I've got everything documented. Every lie, every scheme, every manipulation. The hearing is next week. Bradley says with the evidence we have, it's pretty much open and shut. Harper's broker is already asking questions about her license renewal, and Poppy's connections don't seem so impressive in the light of day. I'm staying with my sister Zoe for now. My stuff is in storage, and I'm actually sleeping better than I have in months. It's like a weight's been lifted. Sure, some people are buying their sob story, but the ones who matter know the truth. To everyone who told me to trust my gut and get proof, thank you. To those who said I was paranoid, well, sometimes paranoia is just good observation skills. I'll update after the hearing. Something tells me Harper and Poppy aren't done trying to spin this their way. But for once, I'm not worried. Amazing how confident you can be when you have the truth on your side. TLDR, serve divorce papers at Miles' dinner party. Expose their scheme with hard evidence. Chaos ensued. Court date next week. Final update. Hey Reddit, it's been 3 weeks since my last update, and holy, what a roller coaster. Grab your popcorn because Karma finally showed up, and she's an absolute beast. Quick recap. Wife Harper and Mel Poppy planned to scam me out of our house by putting it in Harper's name only. I overheard them mocking me, clings like a dog to a bone, gathered evidence, and filed for divorce. Now for the sweet, sweet finale. Remember how Harper always bragged about her real estate success? Well, turns out her biggest client was actually her mom, funneling deals to her through shell companies. I had Bradley, my lawyer friend, dig deeper, and we found out Poppy had been artificially inflating Harper's commission numbers for years. The best part? Poppy didn't just do this out of motherly love. She was writing off these inflated commissions as business expenses on her taxes. The divorce hearing was yesterday. Harper strutted in wearing her designer outfit, probably bought with my money, acting like she owned the place. That smug smile disappeared real quick when Bradley started presenting evidence. You should have seen their faces when he pulled out the recordings. Harper's voice, clear as day. Once the house is in my name, we can push him out. He's too stupid to see it coming. Then Poppy. Men like him are easy to manipulate. Just stroke their ego and they'll sign anything. Harper turned white as a sheet. Poppy started screaming that the recordings were illegal. They weren't. Our state is one-party consent. The judge wasn't having any of their BS. But here's where it gets even better. Remember that fancy real estate office where Harper worked? Bradley had anonymously sent their compliance department proof of her commission fraud. While we were in court, Harper's phone kept buzzing. Turns out she was getting fired in real time. The look on her face when she checked her messages, priceless. Poppy lost it. Started screaming about how I was trying to destroy her daughter's life, how she'd make me pay. The judge threatened to hold her in contempt if she didn't shut up. Harper was crying, mascara running down her face, begging me to work things out. Yeah, right. The judge's ruling was better than I could have hoped for. Not only did I get to keep my down payment for the house, but Harper has to pay me alimony since her documented income was higher than mine, thanks to Mommy's fraud. The best part? The judge specifically mentioned their recorded conversation about scamming me in the ruling. But wait, there's more. Remember how Poppy runs that chain of boutique clothing stores? Apparently, the tax fraud investigation triggered by our divorce case has opened a whole can of worms. Her stores are being audited, and rumor has it she's about to lose her business. Last night, my phone exploded with calls and texts. Harper crying about how she's about to be evicted from her apartment because she can't make rent without her job. Poppy threatening to destroy me. I sent that one straight to Bradley. Various flying monkeys telling me I'm heartless for ruining 2 women's lives. You know what I did? Ordered a pizza, cracked open a beer, and blocked their numbers one by one. Then I called the realtor. Turns out that house we were going to buy just came back on the market at a lower price. Guess who's making an offer tomorrow? This time, it'll be in my name only. The karma train isn't done yet. Harper's former coworkers are coming forward with more dirt about her shady deals. Poppy's other children, who she screwed over years ago, are filing their own lawsuits. Their whole house of cards is collapsing, and I'm just sitting back watching the show. Best part? I never had to do anything illegal or crazy. Just gathered evidence, stayed quiet, and let them destroy themselves with their own actions. Sometimes revenge is best served by simply letting karma do its thing. Edit 1. Since people are asking, yes, Harper tried to break into my apartment last night. Security cameras caught everything, and she's now facing a restraining order. Keep digging that hole deeper, honey. Edit 2. Just got word that Poppy's biggest store location is shutting down next. Karma really said, hold my beer on this one. TLDR, wife and Mael tried to scam me. Ended up losing their jobs, facing legal trouble, and getting exactly what they deserved. Don't play stupid games if you can't handle stupid prizes.